Well, hello everyone. This is Mike DeBoer with the Franchise Business Podcast, and I am fortunate today to be joined by Rudy Frederico. Rudy is a franchise consultant that I've had the privilege of building a relationship and meeting at a couple of events. So, Rudy, if you don't mind starting by introducing yourself and kind of giving a little bit of background to who you are and what you do for the clients that you work with.
Yeah, thanks. Good morning, and thanks for having me on the program today. Glad to be here. Again, my name is Rudy Frederico. I'm out of Plano, Texas. I've been in the franchise space 34 years now, so it's certainly put in some time helping folks get into business. I have somewhere around 900 territories on my resume that I've helped people get involved with, whether working for franchisors, being a franchisee, in whatever capacity. Most recently, been working as an independent franchise consultant. I'm an affiliate of the Franchise Consulting Company, where I am both independent as well as a partner in the organization. Love being able to just help find folks and find out what their goals and dreams really are and see if we can't match them up with something that might be a good fit for them going forward.
Fantastic. And Rudy, what is your process like when you're learning about, people? Because everyone has different goals and skills and I think dreams for their own future and the future of their family. So what is your process to kind of learn about people, their goals, their skills, and then what they want to do in the future as well?
Well, just like in franchising, I've got a process. Everybody has to follow the process. And that's really, and part of that's a test, right? If they can't follow my process, they're certainly not going to be able to follow Schoolie Mitchell's or anybody else's. So part of that's a test, but the process it's similar for everybody, but then also unique for everybody in that because everybody's goals are different. People ask me, "What's the best franchise to buy?" And I go, "I don't know. I don't know you yet." Right? There's some popular things that are out there, but they may not be the best fit for you because you may not want to work on Saturdays, or you may want to be able to keep your job and do something on a semi-absentee basis. So until I get to know my client, what it is that their situation is all about, their budget, lifestyle, geography, time commitment, all of those kinds of things, all of that goes into identifying the best fit franchise for them. Finding some passion, finding some love of people or helping people or working with kids or mechanically inclined, whatever that is, it's a discovery process. So we take an application, we start with that, dump your stuff onto paper. And then really the key is the consultation. Let me get to know you. Tell me more about you. What were you thinking when you said this on my questionnaire? Pull back the onion, pull back the onion, pull back the onion. At the core is where we're going to find, okay, these are the categories that are the best fit. Now what's available in those categories? And if if there's nothing in your area, are you willing to move? If you're not willing to move, maybe I can't help you. But we will work through the process. Generally, we find good opportunities, good fit, and people find franchises that they've never even heard of that are just an incredible fit because I've got such a diverse portfolio to select from. And part of my job is to know that portfolio. So I got to know what the different brands do and so forth. And then in the conversation, something will click in my head. I need to introduce this brand, this brand, this brand, or these categories. This is where we're going to hone in on for this particular client. And it just kind of bubbles up to the top, right? The best fit, if you stick to the process, generally takes care of itself.
Absolutely. Yeah, and you made a note there about, I think, vetting franchises. And I think that's a really important part of your value to clients is you do have this portfolio of brands that you trust. You have relationships with them. You know how they operate. Not that you need to go into detail with your clients about it, but know they're a trusted brand in what they do. So I think somebody that's coming kind of at this their own, that's an overwhelming world to look at. How important is it for you to distill that big world of franchising into something palatable for them to navigate?
It is overwhelming. If a client goes to their computer, and a lot of them start on Google, and you Google franchises, right? The first thing you have to do is pour water on your computer because it starts smoking.
Yeah.
There's just too many choices, right? And it becomes overwhelming. So how do we narrow that down, right? What's in your budget? You could call 1,000 companies and every one of them would go, how much money do you have? What's your net worth? What's your credit score? You don't qualify. Well, all you've done is waste a whole lot of time. And at some point, a lot of people just get checked out in that process and they quit. So in order to keep people engaged in that process, I can shortcut all of that by managing my database and turning on some switches and say, all right, here's what you qualify for. Here's what's available in your area. Here's what's in your categories. Well, now I got 10 choices. We can manage 10 choices. You can't manage 4,000.
No. Right?
And so my job is to help get that 4,000 into my 400 into your 10. Excuse me. And from there, let's just see what kind of what bubbles up. We'll dig a little deeper. We'll ask questions. We'll make introductions. And we'll just follow the course of the river and see where it takes us.
Sure. Awesome. And, Rudy, a question I like to ask, people that have your role as they're helping clients is, I'm sure you've dealt with some people, maybe challenging isn't the right word. Maybe it is the right word. People that it was difficult to understand what they wanted. Maybe they had a hard time making choices. Maybe they had some misconceptions about franchising or the businesses that they were looking at. And yet you overcame those challenges, put them in the right fit, and they've been successful in that business since joining.
Generally, it takes me 3 to maybe 5 months to get somebody from beginning to end. My biggest challenge was 2.5 years.
Wow.
Now, part of it is you just got to stick with it, because it would be real easy to say, okay, this person just can't make up their mind and they're wasting my time. Right? But circumstances were what they were, and I stuck with it, and we finally found the right fit. And actually, the right fit wasn't even in my portfolio when we started. It was a company that came in later, and I said, you know what? This might be a good fit for my guy in New York who's been here and there and this. And he had some kind of specific categories that he was interested in, but a lot of those brands required things that he couldn't accommodate.
Sure.
So we finally found a brand that did. He signed that probably 4 months ago now. He's off and running. In fact, we're teed up to have another conversation next week and go look for the next new business.
Cool.
So hopefully it's not another 2.5 years, but
sure.
We'll now that we've kind of figured out what we're doing, I think we'll be able to find him something else to add to his family's portfolio.
Awesome. That's fantastic, Rudy. And then, not maybe a challenging story, but another story about a particular client that has just chosen the right business, and they've been incredibly successful in that business, and how you help them achieve that.
Yeah. One of my first clients that I placed when I joined FCC, it was during COVID, still working from home. And I changed my profile on LinkedIn, and then I get a message. And this is a gentleman that I had worked with at a franchise several years before. How you been? How's it going? Blah, blah, blah. Great. He'd been out of work for a couple of years, hadn't been able to get back into his particular field. He said, well, before you run out of money, let's get you into a business and so you can take care of your family, right? So he was open to the conversation. Long story short, we put him in Window Genie.
Okay.
Right. He started out with a truck and 2 kids cleaning windows. Right. He now has 4 trucks and 8 kids and a scheduler, and he works full time, and he's doing exceptionally well in a territory right here in my backyard. I see him about once a quarter. We have a chat or a cup of coffee, whatever, and he's just done exceptionally well, and he couldn't be any happier.
That's awesome. I'm sure, Rudy, on your end, that feels rewarding and fulfilling to help people find that right fit and see them be successful. I'm sure that kind of drives you in what you do.
Absolutely, yeah. That's the motivator, because at the end of the day, my legacy is connecting people.
Right.
And sometimes it's just through networking, and I introduce you to somebody because you need a mortgage and I know somebody, and great. Sometimes it's connecting people to businesses, in this case, into a franchise. And other times it's connecting businesses to other businesses because they need each other. So connecting people on multiple levels is really, at the end of the day, I think what my legacy will be all about.
Fantastic, Rudy. And then I'm sure that you run into, like I do, misconceptions about franchising or misconceptions about business ownership or entrepreneurship. What are some of the most common misconceptions that you run into with clients? And then how do you address those and help people overcome that maybe incorrect way of thinking?
I actually wrote an article about 1.5 years ago called Franchising Ain't, and it was published in Franchise Journal magazine.
Awesome.
And it speaks to the three most common misconceptions in franchising, right? One is it ain't all fast food, right? It's probably less than a third in the food and beverage space. Lots of great other service brands across various verticals, from oil change to tax services and accounting to medical services, all kinds of great things. And so again, it's about educating the client, understanding what their options are, where their interests might lie. My questionnaire addresses some of that. I didn't know I could do this, or this. What kind of businesses make suits, right? Or make little figurines that you can mass produce from a 3D photo booth, right? Or something crazy like that. And they're great businesses. And again, depends on what your time commitment is and your availability is and family time. All of those will dictate what the best fit is. The second is it ain't as expensive as you think it is. People say, oh, I can't open up a $1 million McDonald's. Fine. I'm not asking you to open up $1 million McDonald's. I'm asking you to open up a $200,000 painting company. And you want to paint houses. And you can make just as much money doing that as you can flipping burgers without all the overhead. Oh, really? Show me how that works. So now again, let's figure out how that works. And then helping people understand what's really in the cookie jar, right? It's not just their cash. Nobody keeps enough money to start a business in their checking account. That's just silly, right? So what other resources do you have? Home equity, cash value life insurance, investment accounts, retirement funds that you can use and roll over and do something with without taxation or penalty. An educated consultant can walk you through that process and show you where those resources are, how to then partner with the right lending resources so that for a minimal amount of money, you can start a business. Okay. And then the third is it's not as difficult as you might think it is if you have the right coaches or the right resources. Ask somebody who knows what they're doing on how to make all this happen. And if I don't know, I probably know the attorney who can help you look at these documents, the loan officers, the contractors, the credit card people, the marketing people, whatever it is that you might need in order to launch this business that the franchisor can't provide. I have other resources to tap into. Right. So let's put the right people on your bus and start that journey for you.
Sure. Absolutely. Again, Rudy, that's why you're such a valuable asset, because if someone's doing this search on their own, I mean, those misconceptions will get in the way and those relationships that they'll need down the road don't happen, but you can be the conduit to everything they need, going on. So awesome, Rudy. Well, those are my questions. What I like to do though, is give you, if there's somebody out there that's watching this, that maybe is not content with their corporate role, and maybe they're thinking about, okay, I want to do something, I just don't know how to take that step. What would you want to say to them?
I would say talk to somebody and educate yourself, because what's holding you back right now is the fear of the unknown. Right. It's what you don't know that scares you, right? And so get with somebody who can educate you on what does franchise ownership actually look like, right? Can I afford it? What can I afford? What do I want to do? Do I want to leave my corporate role and just replace my income? Do I want to transition slowly and maybe get 1 or 2 units open so that I can transition and still pay my bills and then flip into ownership? And everybody takes a different path. That's what makes this a unique, customized solution. So finding the right person that you can chat with, and then figure out, what your journey looks like, because everybody's is just a little different.
Absolutely, Rudy. And where can people find you if they want to reach out and get in touch and kind of start, their discovery process?
I've got a personal website, franchisewithrudy.com. You can also text Rudy to 26786, and that will get you into my database and we can follow up. So either one of those is a great way to make a connection. You can find me on LinkedIn, or if you just Google my name, I'm the only me out there, and my phone number actually shows up in the Google search. So just give me a call.
There you go. There you go. Well, your parents did you a favor. Only Rudy Frederico.
Only me.
That's
I'm
nice.
the only Rudy Frederico out there. So
it's good for SEO. There you
go. Exactly. Brilliant.
All right.
It's absolutely brilliant.
Awesome, Rudy. Well, I really appreciate you joining me. Thanks for everything you do in this world, and for the people that you work with. They'll be in good hands if they use you to find the right model. I can definitely attest to that. So appreciate it. This is Mike with the Franchise Business Podcast. Rudy, thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me. Have a great rest of your day.
You got it.